absolute blast and a half, if I can say that. Hope you guys have been enjoying all the car shows. Today, here I am at Ponies in the Smokies. Travis, how's it going?
It's going great so far. We had 1,200 cars or so here yesterday. The all-Ford cruising's going on today. I'd say there's probably 700 cars or so outside. Okay. We've got 200 inside.
Ponies in the Smokies is Mustangs. Now you've got all Ford cruisings. What does that mean?
We welcome anything Ford on a Saturday. So the Friday is our judge car show, and then Saturday is anything Ford. We just do a giant cruise in. There's nothing structured outside.
Okay, nice. That's why the crowd is awesome outside, and there is so many beautiful cars, so many muscle cars, and inside here it just gets even better.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us about Ponies in the Smokies. How long has it been going on for?
Ponies in the Smokies was started in 2017. Four of us friends, me, Kevin Brown, Troy Raby, and Jeff Southard. We were administrators in a Fox Body Club.
Okay.
And then decided, hey, we want to start our own car show. We all love the Tennessee area, so we came up and...
You picked a good spot.
We did, and we started a car show. This is the 7th annual. Technically, it's only the 6th show because we lost 2020 to COVID like everybody else. But we started with 300 cars or so our first year, and turned into 1,200 this year.
You know, honestly, when you told me earlier that it had been for 6-7 years, I was surprised because I thought maybe it would have been 12 years, 13 years, because the turnout is amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
It's big, not only the spectators, but the shows and the cars you've got on display. Tell us something about that, because I've noticed there is, you've got the years all the way from 64 and a half.
Yes, ma'am.
Up to the current year.
So the outer ring of the convention center, you can hear the dyno in the background. Wait for it.
Love it.
The outer ring of the convention center, you've got 105,000 square feet in here. The outer ring starts at 64 and a half, and we've got a example of every year of Mustang that was built, ending on 2023 on the other corner.
Wow, that is such a treat, honestly, because someone like me who's always learning, as you guys know, it's nice to see the different changes that came every year.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now, Ponies in the Smokies, a big hit, and I know so many people watching this probably kicking yourself while you're not here. How do they get involved for next year?
So we will not open up registration. We'll start making announcements for the plans for next year in the next month or so. We all decompress for a month and then get started again. You can hear the dyno again. Poniesinthe-smokies.com has got all the information on the car show. We will probably announce some of what our displays are going to be today, but it'll always be a work in progress all year long. If we can rewind a little bit, you've got the years of Mustang on the outside. We also did 2 free feature displays this year. The inner ring, you've got a Shelby display. There's a wide range starting all the way from the early 60s Shelbys up to obviously the modern era cars. Behind that, you've got a rare Fox display that has got your Celines, it's got your Shelby American cars, there's Cobra cars, Cobra R cars, mostly stock examples. And then on the left side of the NPD booth, you've got a modified Fox display that has got just some wild Fox bodies.
Now that's big because the Fox bodies, I was told, they're a rare find.
The rare, yes, they're getting rarer and rarer, obviously, as the years move on. The values of them have gone through the roof. As I said earlier, the 4 of us have deep roots in Fox bodies. That's where, really, it's how the 4 of us met each other.
Tell us about that.
Well, I can tell you for me personally, my older brother's best friend had a 5.0 Mustang when we were in high school. He's 2 years older than I am, and I would sit in the back seat and just ride around with him, and the 5.0 Mustang was burned in my head as like, that's the car.
That's what you are.
Jeff, one of the other partners, his father was really, really into Corvettes, so he's just got a vast automotive knowledge of all things. Troy and Kevin were both in Southeastern Fox bodies when I joined. So we've all got deep roots just in the automotive industry, I guess, which helps with putting a car show like this together.
I bet it does. And you guys are doing a fabulous job. I absolutely love it. 6-7 years. It's going to be here for the next 20 years. I can see that, and it's only going to grow.
Yes.
Now the location, we're here at the Sevierville Convention Center in Sevierville, and this is where it's been happening for...
This is where we started, this is where we still are.
This is where you started.
Yes.
You guys were hopeful, and you were very optimistic to start here with 300
I think
cars.
we were a little bit insane. we jumped in head over
No,
heels.
you knew what you had, and
Yeah.
you knew that it was
we
going
had,
to grow.
We had a vision, we just refused to quit.
Yeah, usually with the car shows, they start off at a parking lot or
Yep.
somewhere with a few cars, but you're like, no, we're going to get the convention center because this is going to grow.
We jumped straight in, rented the convention center, and started with a 4-day event.
All right, everybody, let's continue with Ponies in the Smokies with a 69 GT350 Hertz car.
Hertz car, yes.
David, tell
Hello.
us the relationship between Ford and Hertz.
The relationship, well, in 66, 65, all the early years, Carroll Shelby was very hands-on. He had to have the cars delivered from Ford to his facility at LAX. And over the years, things changed a little bit. Production changed a little bit. In 68, when they did more of the fiberglass work on the front of the car, he didn't really have that. So it was sent out to a company called A.O. Smith that actually did the fiberglass work. And that's the same thing that did the 69s. But unfortunately, the relationship between Shelby and Ford was souring, and Ford was demanding more hands-on, and Carroll Shelby was just kind of upset, and so really, he didn't really have much to do with the 69 Shelbys. This was all mostly Ford's design.
Okay.
So
Where did the relationship between the rental company begin?
that was, of course, 1966 with the GT350H cars. They had like the first, I think, 98, 99 of them were manuals, and they kept on coming back broken or clutches wore out and stuff like that.
It's a rental company.
It was a rental company. And so after that, all the rest of the cars from then on have always been automatics.
Okay.
So up until, from 1966, they did them all throughout the entire years up until 1969. 1969 was the last year.
Yeah.
The 1966, they were right about 1,000 cars that they put to Hertz rental. In 1969, they ended with only 150 of the Hertz rental cars.
And we've got one of that 150 right
And
here
this
behind us.
car here was delivered to Miami International Airport. There were two of them. There was this one here with the candy apple red with the white interior, and the other one was the candy apple red with the burgundy interior. So this
would have been such a treat for everybody.
whoever got to rent it. Imagine the
Rent a
fun they
racer.
had. Yes,
Rent a
yes,
racer,
yes.
Honestly, and I rent cars every now and then, but I haven't come across this unless, this is our Hertz. It was just a normal rental company.
Right,
It
right.
wasn't some...
But they made, between the Ford, they were renting out Mach 1s, they were renting out Cougars as far as the performance cars. So they had a nice performance, a set of performance cars that they had to rent out back in the day.
Okay.
And you had to be part of the Hertz Sports Car Club to rent these cars.
I did not know that.
Yes,
Okay.
there was something called the Hertz Sports Car Club that I don't know the exact requirements to get the little card, the membership card. Obviously, probably an age thing, and probably, I don't know if they checked your ticket history. But yeah, there was limits. That's how they limited some of the people from renting the cars.
So tell us about the 69. What have we got here, and what was the engine? Let's walk. Let's go through the car.
Okay, and the Shelby cars, the GT350s, always had the largest small block available at the time.
Okay.
So the Hypo 289s in 68, they got the 302s for the GT350s. 69s, when the 351 Windsors came out, the Shelbys got the 351 Windsor. So this being the GT350, it's the small block Ford.
Okay.
It has, in 69, they normally came with the 14-inch wheels. These came with the 15-inch wheels, so these actually got the Boss 302 suspensions put on them because it's beefier to handle the larger wheel. They also came, the small blocks came with the FMX transmission, which was not a very popular transmission. They liked the C4, the big blocks with the C6, or of course, top loaders. Definitely by this time, we didn't have any manual transmissions in the rental cars. It was all automatics.
Now, David, this is all original. I'm guessing you haven't touched
This is all original looking. The car has been totally tore apart.
Okay.
The car, I found the car wrecked. Engine was dismantled. The interior was tore apart. And so I found it in 74 sitting in a guy's carport all tore apart.
Well, David, you're on Rana's radar. And one of the things that we do on this channel is we talk about the restoration stories.
And
we never have guessed that this has been totally wrecked.
And I did, with the exception of 3 people, I tore the car apart, cleaned everything, painted everything, kept all, of course, all the parts that you can keep. A few parts you have to replace. I built the engine, I built the transmission, I built the rear end. I did all the body work. I did pay a guy. We had to replace the entire back end of the car. All the sheet metal's been replaced. I had a guy do the welding. I did all the body work, straightening everything out.
And what's your background?
Actually, I'm a computer technician.
Okay. So how does a computer technician come into the auto world?
From my father. My father was, he was a firefighter, but you know, they always get second jobs, and he was a marine mechanic.
Nice.
And when we were kids, we were one of 3, I'm the middle of 3 kids. When we got our cars, he did not buy our cars for us. We had to cut lawns, earn our own money, and we bought junk.
Yeah.
And he made us work on them and put them together to teach us the value of stuff. And, you know, in case the car breaks down, we have to know how to fix our cars. So, yeah, I started at 17 when I bought my first Mustang. I bought a 69 Fastback, and it had a blown head gasket or something like that. And he, you know, go ahead, fix it. Yes, you need to make it run and reliable, so fix it. So that's how I started, and I got into everything. This is not in its best condition right now. It's had some minor issues with the paint that I had to do a quickie touch-up job to it. It used to look a whole lot better.
It still looks
But I you know, I sprayed it. I've done so many touch-ups and stuff on this. The car was painted in 2017, and it's been to so many shows. I've been to autocrosses, I've been to drag races, I've been on the Atlanta Road America in Atlanta. I've done here at the Ponies and the Smokies at the Smokies Stadium. I've done the autocross there. So it gets a lot of use. As a matter of fact, if you look, it still has the rubber on it from the drag strip just here at English Mountain, where I ran it in the 8th mile drag races.
That's awesome. And this is my first time here at Ponies and the Smokies, and Travis, one of the organizers, was just letting me know about the different events that take place.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact you've got a beautiful classic with you. It's not just the classic, it's a racing classic, and you use it and
I drive it, which is a lot of people that I do it because some people will say, this car's too nice. You don't actually drive this car. You won't put it on a racetrack. And I'm kind of like, hold my beer, watch this.
All right, guys, if you all want
Sure.
tickets, legal performance, start making your way through the stage over in this area.
These cars came, because they were rental cars, they were kind of the showpiece for Ford. And so they decked them out with everything. It came with the power steering, power brakes, air conditioning. It's got the fold-down rear seat, deluxe interior. Now, the only thing it really didn't come with, is strangely, is it came with just an AM radio, as opposed to, at the time they had AM, FM stereos available, but for some reason all the Shelby cars came with AM radios.
So if you weren't in that line the first time,
They came factory, just like all the earlier cars. They came factory with the roll bars and the inertia racing seat harnesses. That's all factory.
That might have been something that you were about.
The way the car looks, it's all factory looking. If you looked at this car in 1969, this is how the car would have looked. This car, even has what they call the tilt flyaway steering wheel.
Tilt flyaway steering wheel.
So that when you open, it's a vacuum electrical operated system, that when you open the door, turn off the ignition, the steering wheel pops up at an angle to help you get in and out of the car.
Isn't that cool?
And then
I've seen the steering wheels come off. I've seen them get adjusted.
Normally it's a tilt wheel.
Yeah.
That you can tilt it, and then when the door opens up and the vacuum canister hits it with the door opened up, it'll actually pivot up at a 45-degree angle. Which if I give it a bit of a yank here, it'll pop free and do it. It's a little wore out. I need to adjust it, but that's what it does.
A small minor thing just to make it comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
I appreciated this, David.
You're quite welcome.
You've got quite a find, and I have learned so much. I love these interviews.
Thank you
so much.
Take care.
93. David, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So tell us, what have you got?
It's a 93 GT. I've owned it for 12 years. It's just turned 52,000 miles. Mostly original.
And your dad was telling me that you drive this.
Oh yeah, I drive it everywhere.
You drive it, you race it.
Yep. They're meant to be enjoyed. You got to get out there and enjoy them. So.
That's awesome. And how long have you had it for?
I bought it in 2011 with 22,000 miles on it.
22,000 miles.
Yep, it has 52 now, so yeah, I
52,
drive it.
okay, wow, you do drive it. And were you looking for a 93 Mustang?
I always loved the Fox bodies. I love all Mustangs, but I've always been a huge Fox body fan. I had a white 89 in high school that I loved, and when I saw this, I had to get it.
Yeah. Let's stop for just a second.
Yep.
All right.
Oh, they're doing those awards, okay, because they're so
Show of
loud.
hands, who is it your first time at pits?
That's
Awesome. You
making
all have a
sound.
great experience? Yes. Second time. Third time.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, we're still a lot. Fourth
It's
time.
going to be talking for a while.
Yeah, I think
okay.
so.
So why don't you put this closer to your, maybe
Wow,
keep
there's
it
still a whole bunch. Wow. Who's been through the whole duration?
yeah, closer
I know
to
I have. I've loved every minute of it. I tell you what, this is a great show. These guys
So were you looking for a
great event.
93 Fox body?
Just 70 or 87 to 93 is the body style I like. I always like the GTs.
This is a popular body style, and it's very rare now as well. So what is it about the Fox bodies that you like?
They're just fun little cars. They're for many years they were very cheap, very affordable, so you could get into them and have some fun right at a very low starting cost. They're very easy to modify and make faster, make more fun to drive.
I read about that the engines you can actually modify and tune and do a lot of things to it.
Yep.
But I have been in one of the drift cars, and the drift cars
And
were pretty cool. You guys are
how did you come
wild,
across
a
it?
bit crazy.
Where did you get it
Never done
from?
that.
It was on Craigslist and eBay in the Pittsburgh area. I'm about 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, and I watched it for probably 3 months before I pulled the trigger and had to have it.
You can't get that lucky now. It's very hard to find these.
Yes.
You've got a rare find on you, honestly.
I'll agree.
But tell us about the engine.
How much money they spend just to do the things
This is the stock high output 5-liter that they put in all the Mustangs. My car is mostly stock. I've done a little bit of intake and exhaust upgrades.
generous
It's putting about 250, 260 horsepower at the flywheel.
If y'all can hear my voice, y'all
And yeah, I've drag raced it, I've autocrossed it,
to be just thrown out.
and I drive it all over the country for shows.
And I'll be throwing that stuff out here momentarily.
And everything is original.
Mostly original. Yeah, this is all original interior. I actually just did the headliner before we come down, so that's new.
Oh, nice. Nice sunroof as well.
Yep. And this was originally an automatic car, and me and my friends put the 5-speed manual in it because it's more fun to drive.
It's more fun to drive, of course. Love the spoiler. Is that anything customized there? Or?
Nope, that's the stock GT spoiler. Exterior-wise, this is all stock as it came.
And you like your Mustangs?
I love it.
All
This
right.
is my 6th Mustang. I also have a 2017 GT, which is my 7th Mustang I've owned in my life.
7 Mustangs.
Not total. I only own 2, but
Yeah,
7 in my life.
7 in your life, obviously.
I see that. They're coming
What
right
is
up
it about the
front.
Mustangs that you like so
I
much?
like this.
They're just my dad was a Ford guy my whole life. He got us into them. He's into more of the older ones. I like them all. I like every single year.
Cool stuff here in just a few minutes.
Yep.
Would you lift this up and show it?
I could if she wants to.
What have you got inside?
I've
Your
got
dad's
some
telling me there must be something.
original documentation. Check this out. It's got all my original paperwork, original documentation, sales brochure, electrical manuals, service manuals.
These books are such a gold find, honestly.
They're very hard to find now. I mean, you can find them, but they cost a lot.
Yeah. These are, I like to read. So these
We'll
are
give everybody just a few more
Yep.
minutes to get up here, and then we'll go ahead with giving away some cool stuff.
This is awesome, David.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Good for you. I know you're going to keep it for many, many years.
Oh, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to be checking out Mustangs from each year, and I'm pretty excited about this because we're going to be looking at all the ponies from 64 and a half up until 2023. Right behind me, I've got 2008 model, belongs to Tyler. How's it going, mate?
Good, how are you?
Good, good. You know, your missus was just telling me the story on how you found this. So tell us about that, because I love it.
Well, I'm from a small town called Statesboro. It's a college town. And this building close to where I live had a couple cars in it. It was an older steel building that closed down years ago. Had a for sale sign on it. Didn't think anything of it. Saw a couple cars in there. There's a tire shop right next to it, so I was at the tire shop one day, went in there. I saw something that looked like a Mustang. So I went up to it and thought it was just a GT500. I said, okay, well, that's cool, you know. So I keep driving by it every day at work, and I get a closer look at it, and I see KR on it. I didn't know much about the KRs at the time, but found out later on that it was a special car. First year they made them was 68. This was the second year in 08.
This is the 40th edition as well.
Right, yep. They made them in 68, 08, and 09 also. And that was the last KRs that Carroll Shelby had involvement in before he passed away. But the 08's special compared to the 09 because it's the second year they did it. And there's...
So this car was just sitting, let's just backtrack here, everybody. Car was sitting in a warehouse. There was nothing wrong with it. It was not broken down or anything like that. Because behind us, it's all original, it's all stock, it hasn't been customized.
Right.
And I'm just surprised that it was just sitting there. How lucky were you?
Very lucky, very fortunate. And the only thing that's been changed on it is the tires. Of course, I kept the original tires that I took off of it for later on. And just changed the fluids on it and the oil, and that's pretty much it. And sitting right at 2,000 miles on the odometer.
Only 2,000 miles.
Only 2,000 miles on it. Still has the plastic wrap on the visors. Okay, you're fine.
And get your raffle tickets. They'll be at 1 o'clock right here in our trailer, giving away a set of drag racing wheels and a $500 gift card. So you have 2 chances to win that one $10 ticket. So make sure you go back there and back and get your tickets if you want a chance to win a set of racing wheels or a
I guess it all gets edited. That's why it all gets edited.
Yeah.
Okay, Tyler, so the wheels you had to put brand new, fair enough, but the paint and everything to be in this condition, and it's absolutely immaculate, it was covered, or was it just sitting in the warehouse there?
It was just sitting in a warehouse. To my knowledge, I talked to the owner eventually when I contacted him. I just called the for sale sign on the building, and I got a hold of the owner. And he told me about the car and told me he didn't want to sell it, and then came back and decided that he would, you know, later on, because it was him and his brother bought it, an older guy, he was in his 80s, as an investment years ago when it was brand new, and they drove it to Dairy Queen on Sundays to get ice cream, and that was pretty much it. Yeah.
That'll explain the 2,000 miles, right?
Yeah. So, and his brother passed away, and so he figured it was time to get rid of the car and pass it on to somebody that he knew would want it. And I still talk to him to this day because I told him that I would take care of the car, you know, if he agreed to sell it and show it to people so people can see it. And the cool fact, the car was never, it was put in the company's name, so nobody was ever, I'm the first original owner of the car, technically, since it was put in the company's name before. So
it just keeps getting better and
yeah,
better.
and so this car got delivered from Shelby, from Las Vegas to Rozier Ford in Statesboro. It was on the showroom floor when they bought it. And this car, from what he told me, they never took it out of Statesboro. So when I took it out of Statesboro for the first time down to Savannah, Georgia, it was kind of like it's, you know, maiden voyage, going out of town, first long drive, you know. So that was pretty cool and heartwarming to me.
And how does it feel when you're driving this?
I mean, it feels special, you know, like you're driving a piece of history, you know.
That's it. That's exactly it, isn't it?
And I've been in the other Shelbys, and they're all nice, but the KR, I know Carroll Shelby, when he did interviews about him, talked about him in the videos. It was special to him. It was a king of the road. You know, he wanted to be the top you know, Shelby to beat Chevy, and
Is that what KR stands for? King of the Road?
yep, King of the Road.
Okay.
So,
So he put a lot of effort. He puts a lot of effort into all of his cars, of course.
right.
But this one, he was really determined to make it go faster. And you know what? I can notice the carbon fiber.
Yep, that's real carbon fiber. It's got a carbon fiber splitter on the front. That's one of the things they changed.
Reading on this, and it was in competition at the time in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it in competition with?
Chevy. Competing against Camaros has always been their competition, but that he made this car specifically for the track and the road course. It also has these little holes in the bottom. Down here, those are for the brakes. What happens is you take that little cap off, and there's a hose that you connect to that, and it goes to your front brake rotor. So while you're on the track, it's constantly bringing air in there to cool your rotors down while you're tracking the car. So,
I had no idea.
yeah. And this hood is also, it's not a metal hood, it's carbon composite.
Okay.
So
So it's lighter.
Yep. So this is a functional ram air hood with the heat extractors.
All right, well, so why don't we open it up and have a look?
Sure.
Okay, I'm learning about Mustangs today, Tyler. So this is an all-stock engine of the 2008. And what made this different with Shelby trying to up the Camaros of the time?
It's just a 5.4 liter supercharged. All these motors were hand built. They did a little bit different tuning on the KRs. They changed the intake with dual throttle body on it. They did a whole new suspension for the KRs. It's got the forward racing strut tower brace on it. The suspension, SVT suspension, was tuned just for the track, cornering and stuff like that. And then they changed a few little visual things like the KR caps and stuff like that.
How long have you had this for now?
About a year.
A year?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
So I do take it out occasionally just to drive it. Most of the time it sits in the garage.
Yep.
But you can't get replacement parts for them anymore. There was only 1,100 of them made in 2008 in 4 different colors: blue, red, black, and silver, with different stripe combinations. And then you break it down from there. That was 1,100 total between all 4 colors. There was only 476 of these made back in 08, so probably less now, which makes it even more rare.
Well, you've got a rare find on your hands, and I can understand you don't want to drive it all the time, especially if they're not making parts for it.
It is fun to drive, and cars are meant to drive.
Yeah.
But I also want to preserve it at the same time.
Yes.
And let future generations see it, you know, if I can pass it along to my kids, you know, somebody else someday. So.
Love that, Tyler. I love your way of thinking with this. Let's have a look inside for the interiors of the
Sure.
array. And with all the leather and stuff as well, I mean, this must have been one of the higher range models.
Mm-hmm. All the Shelbys start out as a premium, or they start out as just a GT500 that comes with all the premium stuff. Navigation, usually heated seats, leather. This one they added the headrest. It has the KR with Carroll Shelby's signature stitched in it. They got a short throw shifter in it instead of just a regular shifter. So you have shorter throws between shifting gears. You can shift gears faster, get faster track times.
6 speed?
6 speed.
6 speed.
6 speed Tremec transmission.
Very nice.
And I haven't taken any of the wrap off. It's the plastic wrap on the floorboards.
No, you're smart. You know, honestly, if I had something like this and I knew that the parts were not there for it, you would be extra paranoid.
Yeah. So I try to preserve as much as I can on it.
You're doing a great job. You enjoying yourself here at Ponies and Smokies?
I am. It's been a great week. It's actually my first year here, and my first time being in the show, and I was honored to be picked to be inside. So.
Well, you're going to be coming back for many years to come with this.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's the way. That's the way. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. to Rana's radar. Now, I love seeing people that I've already connected with. And of course, I've got with me Dina. How's it going, hon?
It's going great. Good to see you again.
It's so good to see you. And I had to come because we are here at Ponies in the Smokies. And of course, Dina, you've got your Mustang.
I do. I have my Shelby. She's with me today.
Let's have a
So this is my 2013 black on black Shelby GT500, 480 horsepower. And we had to trailer it up here. We came from Mississippi, so it was quite a little trek to get here.
Now, I was just chatting with you and you told me 9 hours.
Yes, it took us 9.
Last-minute decision as well. I'm glad you came. I'm very
Yes.
9 hours you had to bring it here. And you know, one question I'm going to ask you, which I haven't explored before, with all these car shows and people bring amazing, beautiful, very clean, very detailed cars, whether they're classics or muscle. Tell us, what is involved when you bring a car to the car show?
So it is all about the details. So it's all about prepping the car, making sure the inside, the out, the engine bay, everything is in immaculate condition, and then keeping it that way on the 9-hour trek here. So it was quite an experience. So my first one this far, but it was fun because I have a whole team of people, including my husband Dylan. So they all helped pitched in, and Eric and Joe, and even Coon at home helped us all get ready for this event.
Well, it looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing, and we're going to go inside and have a look at the engine, and then I'm going to show you guys the interiors because it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Black on black. What does that mean exactly?
So it's got the black with the black stripe. So it is known for the stripes. So definitely mine is a little muted because it is matte, but it is it's a Shelby. That's it. Yes. The matte stripe.
I love it. It makes it look really nice. It stands out, yet it's subtle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bold white
Exactly.
stripe down the middle. Yet again, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's 2013. And this is stock?
Yes, everything. We've kept everything original.
You know, with so many changes happening in the automotive industry these days, even myself, if you get a nice car that already has everything, it's actually a good idea to keep it stock, keep
Yes.
it original,
Yes.
and let it maintain its value.
We want to do a few upgrades, but we haven't done it yet.
Okay, what do you want to do?
That's more my husband's deal, but I know that he wants to do a few things to
He wants
it.
to make this louder and faster.
I want to make it louder.
You want to make it louder.
He wants to make it faster. So the pipes are something we are talking about, the mufflers. So we'll see.
Okay. Hey, while we're here in the engine compartment, now cleaning this, and especially when it's a stock motor and there is so much happening, it's so clean, there's not a dust to be seen. Dina, well done on that.
Thanks.
Well done to you and your team. What is one tip you can give to somebody who is cleaning their engines?
You know, that would be more of my team's job. They do all of that. We get in here and we clean, and we really scrubbed down a lot of it from home to begin with before we trailered it up. But yeah,
When I'm seeing this, I'm thinking toothbrushes.
You know, not really toothbrushes,
Okay.
but you're in there scrubbing pretty hard with, rags
Small
and stuff.
little
Yeah,
brushes and-
yeah.
Looks beautiful. Love the black on black. And that matte strip, everybody, just like the other Mustangs, the 2-color ones, it's actually following it right on the hood as
Yes,
well.
it does. It goes all the way to the back of it. So, and of course, I have a matte top.
Nice.
And of course, my tag, my Shelby, because my husband has all the cars, because I had to stake claim to this one. It's definitely my car.
If you guys remember, we had Dylan and Dina come and my classic podcast shows. That was cool. We talked about the Fox Body Mustangs.
Yes.
I know Dylan's a big fan of that one.
And we didn't bring any of his this time. So, yeah.
It's all about you
It's
this
all
time.
about me this time.
But you know, this is not just any ordinary. Not only does it look good and it's absolutely stunning, but it is a show car because it has won a few awards.
Yes, it has.
Tell us about that.
We have won a couple of awards locally at different car shows. So we've won, the latest one was, I think, in Lucedale. So we won for my division. So, yeah.
First in the class.
Yes. So.
You're humble, okay?
It was first.
And are these wheels stock as well?
They are. They are original to the car.
They really know how to do it, don't they?
Yes, they do. I will give them that. Eric, that was a labor of love for him.
Look at the interior as well.
And you can see that we added the dash where Carol Shelby signed it, the plate with my VIN number on it. Yeah. And a lot of those come stock, or they have him sign on the dash.
Love the Cobra. And are you in a division today?
Supposedly, so we'll see, but there's lots and lots and lots of GT500s here today. So I'm just humbled to be here and to be at this show, so I'm just excited to be here. It doesn't matter if we win or lose.
I mean, I think you're excited anytime you're standing next to your car.
I do. It's kind of, it's a thrill.
Well, this is absolutely awesome. I'm so happy that you're here, and I got to see this in person because I did see pictures of it. You know, Dylan from Mustang Racing does great photography, and of course he had to photograph his wife's car.
Yes, he did.
And when you've got something like this, the pictures look amazing. So I appreciate this, Dina.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. All right, everybody, I love seeing all the different vendors. You know, we've got the Hot Rod Pencil, Ian's back there. I have to say hello to him. But before I do that, I've got our dream Restomods behind me here. We've got Munir and Sam. Guys, how's it going?
Doing good, how are you? Doing well.
I'm good. You've got two beautiful ponies on either side of yourselves.
Thank you.
Before we get to those cars, so tell us about our dream Restomods.
You want to go? You want me to go? You take it from here. All right. So yeah, this is basically what we do. We take cars that have been sitting around for a while. So either they've owned them or they found a project and they want some help with it. So we'll do paint and body, the metal work, wiring, engine swaps, and kind of just take it to whatever
the whole thing.
Yeah, whatever level they want to bring it to.
The whole project. I love it. Now, is it just Mustangs or all cars?
We do a lot of Mustangs, but we do a little bit of everything. We have some old Corvettes we're working on, trucks, Galaxy, Impala, so a little bit of everything.
And how long have you guys been operating for?
For about the last 10 years or so.
Last 10 years, nice. And where is it based out of?
We're just north of Charlotte, in a town called Salisbury, North Carolina.
Okay.
It's our.
You're in a good place. I mean.
Yeah, we are, with all the racing industry around there, and it's a big car industry, and never a shortage of stuff going on in that area.
Now, for 10 years, has it always been just the two of you?
No, we've had a lot of changes over the last couple of years, and so recently here it's been us two, and we're kind of changing directions with how we're doing things. So.
Okay, well that's always exciting.
Yeah.
Our dream Restomods. What's your dream car?
65 Mustang.
65. Why not the 64 and a half? You waited until they sorted out the kinks?
No. Well, we can say that, but 65 was the first year of the fastback.
Okay, so you like the fastback?
Yep.
Okay, they're good. Very rare.
Yes, they are.
Very rare now,
Very
but
beautiful.
we are going to be checking out and getting an interview with that as part of my series of every single Mustang from the 64 up till the current day. So we'll definitely check that one out.
Sounds great.
What about you, Munir? What's yours?
Oh, that's a tough question. I guess something that I wouldn't easily attain, it'd probably be like a Ford GT40, an old original GT40 race car.
Okay. And what's so good about them?
I just don't see them, and they're
history.
Yeah, they're racing history, and there's a very unique car. So I'd like to take one and cut one up and make it a little different.
Usually when people have their favorite cars, they don't want to do that, but you want to grab it, you want to cut it up, and you know what? That's awesome because that's what you do. That's where your passion is. You want to grab them and do a complete Restomod, add a few details, personalize it.
Exactly.
Now you two have got two awesome cars behind you as well. They look immaculate, and let's have a look at this one. The blue is so eye-catchy. What am I looking at?
So this is a 1986 Mustang GT. Came to us basically original stock, worn out. It was black, wasn't it black?
Yeah, black.
So we basically completely stripped it. The customer kind of wanted to go not pretty wild with it, not crazy wild, but wanted us to kind of put our kick on it, and we decided to go with the new Coyote engine with a big supercharger. He wanted a lot of horsepower. So we just kind of started going that direction with it, and one thing led to another, and this is where we ended up.
Wow, that's awesome. And I love the work that you've done.
David, you have to be in the
Oh, announcer is so much. Oh, it's awesome. It beats having the music in the background.
David Edwards, can you please come to the hotline
Restomod happy hour trailer. That sounds like a fun place.
Or if you need a nosebleed, just tap him on the shoulder and tell him to come to the Hot Rod Happy Hour Trail.
I love the name. Okay, awesome. Coyote engine. And you know what I love the most about it is the blue that you have continued on. You didn't make it where this would be a different color, so you make that pop. Some people do that. It looks good, but the way you've done it, it really just flows. Now, anytime you supercharge it, there's always a lot of wires and a lot of things happening in the engine compartment. But you've done it well. It still looks neat.
Thank you, yes. A lot of people don't realize when you supercharge something, you can't just add the supercharger. There's 10 other things or so that you have to modify to make it work and be reliable too.
Exactly, which is well, always you notice it when something's going supercharged. There's a lot more wires and tubes happening. And what year was this again?
86.
86. Okay, let's have a look on the inside. So you've customized the engine. What the body's the same, I'm guessing.
So there's actually been quite a few body modifications that we've done.
Okay.
Real subtle stuff, but like all the glass has been flush mounted. So the front windshield, the rear windshield, we got rid of the factory trim. We rebuilt all the window beds to get rid of the trim, and we just have this sleek rubber that we mount the glass with. It goes front and back.
And it sits more flush as well.
Yeah, it sits more flush. A lot of high-end hot rods are starting to do it. And then the spoiler's all flush mounted.
Oh wow, I didn't notice that.
Instead of just laying on the instead of laying
Look
on
at that,
top of the
everybody.
hatch.
Wow, I like that. Obviously I didn't come around to the back end. Look at that, everyone. This
It's been mini top with 335 wide tires on it.
I like the fact that the spoiler's been welded. It gives it a real cool effect. Wow, looks beautiful. What about the one next to it?
You want the owner of the car or what else?
You can tell us.
Okay, so yeah, this car's an 86 as well.
I love the engine here.
Yeah,
Can we just
color coordinated a little bit on it as well.
I love this.
It's an 86 coupe. It was a shell when we started on it. It had no engine, transmission. There's no interior. It was missing a bunch of body pieces, but we were able to piece it together, paint everything, took it all apart, undercoated the bottom side, redid the interior. A little simpler of a build than the last one.
This is pretty. This is pretty high-end work, guys. I just wanted to say that. Now, see, run us radar. We see so many restoration stories, and we do check out shops as well. But you guys have been doing this, and I'm going to say you're both very young still as well. 10 years, like, where did your hobby and passion, the skills, where did that start from?
We were kind of talking about it earlier.
Yeah. For myself, I grew up in a family that had a car dealership and mechanic shop. So I was, ever since I'd be on my feet, I was messing around in my dad's garage, and we were always big Ford people and working on Fords. When I got to high school, I had to have box body Mustangs. That's what was popular back then. And, and I didn't think they'd become, this desirable, 20 years down the road. It's kind of come full circle for me as far as a box body goes.
Yep. So you've got that passion there from yourself, and your skills. Dad helped you build those skills.
Yep. Always be doing some kind of working in automotive, whether it be racing, hot rods, or whatever. And just one thing led to another, and we ended up meeting, and then the rest kind of took off from there.
We get to build some cool stuff and have fun doing it.
And what about you, Munir? Where did yours start?
Similar story. My dad was always into cars growing up, so I always remember being in the garage helping him out, tinkering with cars. He had an automotive business. We used to do disc brake conversions on classic cars, so that kind of got me into the hot rod field.
And if you're in classic cars, you will be doing restorations regardless.
And then I was always too cheap to pay people to do what I want. I couldn't afford to pay people to do what I wanted, so I learned how to do it. Learned how to paint that way, and now I get to paint people's cars. And
now you make money on it, so that is absolutely awesome. Love the engine bay here, everybody. You guys have done it really well.
This car's got a little bit of a different story than that one.
Okay, what's the story?
Him and I were going to build it for ourselves.
Right.
like to keep, because he just had this car. So we had gathered some parts, and
yeah, I bought it a number of years ago. And
yeah,
we were both collecting parts.
Yeah, so like blue coupe. So we got about halfway through the build, and then another mutual friend's like come to us saying he was looking for a car to buy, and so we ended up building it for him.
That's the downside of having a business, I guess.
And we still, to this day, kick ourselves. We should have kept that car.
Right.
Because this car personally was our car.
But he's become a good friend, and he's here with us today, so we're having a good time.
All that does, the silver lining here is that's going to push you to now start on the next project.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Sure. There's always another.
There's always another. But it's been absolutely fabulous. And guys, so let us know, how would people get in touch with you if they wanted to come to you and give you some business?
Yeah, so you can go on our website, ourdreamrestomods.com, give us a call or any of the social media. We can reach out and communicate that way, emailing us some pictures of what you're working on, and we can try and help come up with a game plan.
And now this is a question for myself, is how long is the turnaround time?
Usually it depends
on a project.
It just depends on the level of the project and how far the customer wants to go with it, the overall condition of the car when it comes in, that type of thing. Okay. Right now we've got 10 or 12 projects currently in the works. So
from starting one to finishing one, once it gets into our shop, it's usually a year, maybe a year and a couple months. Yeah, that's from usually starting to finishing. It's just more about, we got a pretty big backlog right now. So.
Well, this has been absolutely awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I wish you all the best in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.